If you're new to this story, please check out the playlist in the description and feel free to start from the beginning. The stealth operations. The human stealth ship, the Phantom, rested at the edge of the newly named Zephyra system, a stone's throw from the Orinthian territory. Its mission, to observe and report on the activities surrounding Zorvan's base, had just begun. Two of humanity's best, Captain Layla Harper and Navigator Luca Ward, were at the helm of this clandestine operation. The ship's computer hummed quietly, the soft glow of the holographic display casting an ethereal light within the confines of the bridge. Layla, with her sharp eyes and years of reconnaissance experience, scanned the intercepted data streams. Luca, an expert in decryption and data analysis, worked closely with her, sifting through the endless sea of information. The duo had been stationed on the outskirts of Zorvan's suspected base for the last few days, and the data was beginning to mount. They tracked ship movements, recording departures, arrivals, and anomalies, attempting to discern patterns in the chaos. They also intercepted a flurry of encrypted transmissions, their origins and destinations shrouded by layers of Veritan ciphering.
It's like trying to see through a storm,
Luca muttered, his fingers dancing over the touch-sensitive control panel.
The first steps are always the hardest,
Layla replied, a determined look in her eyes.
We're charting the unknown. It's a matter of time before we start connecting the dots.
As the days turned into nights and back into days, the Phantom remained a silent observer. It floated amidst the vastness of space, a ghost among the stars, while its crew tirelessly worked to unravel the shroud of mystery around General Zorvan. They made some headway, identifying key points of interest and potential leads, but much of Zorvan's operations remained hidden. The tension inside the Phantom was palpable as the reality of their situation settled in. They were alone in hostile space, working against the clock, and an enemy who was always a step ahead. The risk was tremendous, but so was the potential reward. If they could glean enough information to halt Zorvan's campaign, they might end the strife plaguing the Galactic Council. Every piece of data they captured was relayed back to the human military command, offering insights and potential paths forward. Some bits were more interesting than others. A regular outgoing transmission to a distant star system hinted at the possibility of an off-site command center, or perhaps an ally in Zorvan's grand scheme. The crew of the Phantom understood their role in the grand scheme of things. Their work was the first step in a greater offensive, a counter-move against a formidable enemy. In this game of interstellar chess, they were the advance pawns, gathering the intelligence necessary to strategize and strike back.
We're at the cusp of something big.
Layla's voiced her thoughts aloud, her gaze fixed on the holographic display showing an overview of the Zephyra system.
I can feel it too,
Luca said, pausing in his work.
Every intercepted message, every ship movement, it's all part of a larger puzzle.
Let's just hope we can solve it in time,
Layla said, a hard edge to her voice. For now, the Phantom would continue its covert operations, every second bringing humanity a step closer to understanding Zorvan's plans. Veros Leads. Ambassador Veros stood at the window of his chambers in the Galactic Council headquarters, looking out at the sprawling cityscape below. The decision to seek out General Zorvan was not one he had taken lightly. It entailed a delicate dance of negotiations and danger, threading the needle between his loyalties to the Council, humanity, and his Veritan kin. Knowing he couldn't carry out this task openly, Vero called upon some old acquaintances. Some were loyalists, others separatists, all a part of a sprawling web that connected the Veritans scattered across the galaxy. He asked for information, for a way to reach Zorvan without drawing the attention of the very people who sought to destroy him. Slowly, the pieces began to fall into place. Contacts returned messages, discrete data drops were arranged, and a tentative trail began to form. Each lead offered a small, cautious step forward, bringing him closer to the renegade general. Meanwhile, he maintained his duties as an ambassador, attending meetings and consultations. He was a diplomatic beacon of unity in the midst of turmoil, even as he quietly navigated the undercurrents of rebellion and revolution. On one such day, in a quiet corner of the council headquarters, Vero met with Kale, a seasoned Veritan operative. Kale, a former comrade in the Veritan military, had managed to maintain a line of communication with some of Zorvan's followers. His eyes held an intense glint, reflecting the weight of the information he carried.
Zorvan has been gathering forces on the outskirts of Arinthian space,
Kale revealed.
He has sympathizers there.
Vero nodded, processing the information.
Can you set up a meeting?
Vero asked, his gaze firm on Kale. Kale shifted uncomfortably before responding.
I can send a message, but there's no guarantee he'll agree to meet.
Do it.
Vero insisted.
We need to end this crisis peacefully.
In the following days, Vero continued to trace the breadcrumbs left by Zorvan's movements. He walked a thin line, balancing his allegiance to the Council and his intent to prevent a more loss of life that achieved nothing. The search consumed him. Every bit of information, every potential meeting, every report of Zorvan's attacks made him more resolute. He navigated the maze of contacts and coded messages, spurred on by a desperate need to prevent further bloodshed. Back in his quarters, he spent countless hours staring at a holographic display, a constellation of information that represented Zorvan's activities. His fingers traced the potential routes, the movements of Zorvan's fleets, the whispers of dissent echoing from the farthest reaches of the galaxy. One evening, a coded message blinked on his display, breaking the monotony. It was from Kale.
Zorvan will meet. Coordinates to follow.
Vero stared at the message, a strange mix of relief and apprehension washing over him. The chance for a peaceful resolution was within grasp, but the journey ahead was far from over. As Vero prepared to plunge into the depths of possible enemy territory, the weight of his mission bore down on him. The next steps he would take could drastically alter the course of Zorvan's warmongering, for better or for worse. The stakes had never been higher.
May the stars guide us towards peace,
Vero murmured, staring into the cosmic abyss beyond his window, the future as uncertain as the dark expanse of the universe itself. Admiral Kira's ambush. In the dark expanse of space, Admiral Kira's command cruiser, the Prometheus, held a quiet vigilance. They were positioned strategically, near the latest reports of Zorvan's fleet activity, a bustling human trade route. The shadow of anticipation loomed over the ship as the crew prepared for the probability of an imminent encounter. Admiral Kira was a seasoned commander, known for her strategic acumen and unwavering resolve. The thought of Zorvan and his fleet wreaking havoc on innocent traders was a spur that he could not ignore. It was time for a bold move, and Kira was ready to make it. She studied the vast 3D map projected in the command center. The trade route was marked with a streak of blue, weaving its way through planets, asteroids, and stars. Kira's fleet was a green dot, lying in wait in the black expanse of the universe. The red dots, indicative of potential enemy activity, were ominously absent for now.
We've reinforced our patrols,
said Commander Lorne, her second in command.
Our intelligence suggests that they might strike within the next few cycles. We're ready, Admiral.
Kira nodded, her gaze fixed on the map.
Good. Our aim is not to destroy them, but to capture them. We need prisoners for interrogation. We need to understand Zorvan's game.
Days turned into nights, and still they waited. The patience of the crew was tested, but they held their ground. The tedium of waiting was better than the alternative of an unprepared encounter. Finally, an alert sounded. The ship's sensors had picked up the telltale signs of an incoming Veritan cruiser, matching Zorvan's fleet's known signatures. The anticipation aboard the Prometheus grew to an almost tangible level. Admiral Kira straightened up, her sharp eyes scanning the updated map. The moment they had been waiting for had arrived.
Battle stations, everyone.
Kira commanded, her voice steady and authoritative.
Ready the disruptor cannons. Prepare to engage.
The Veritan cruiser moved closer, still unaware of the trap they were flying into. As soon as they entered the effective range of their weapons, Kiran gave the order to fire. The disruptor cannons fired a series of controlled, non-lethal blasts, aiming to disable the cruiser's propulsion and weapons system. The cruiser was caught off guard. The surprise attack left them disoriented, providing an opening for the human forces.
Launch the boarding pods,
ordered Kira. Special teams trained for such missions were dispatched. Their goal to board, secure the Veritan cruiser, and take the crew into custody. The operation was swift and efficient. The Veritan cruiser was soon under human control, its crew members apprehended. A wave of relief washed over Admiral Kira. This was a significant victory. Aboard the captured cruiser, human forces began the process of securing the ship and the prisoners. They were careful, knowing well the reputation of the Veritan soldiers. The mission was far from over. Meanwhile, Admiral Kira sent a message to the Galactic Council, informing them about their successful operation.
We have taken a renegade Veritan cruiser and its crew into custody,
She reported.
We will begin the interrogation process to gather more information about Zorvan's activities.
It was a significant win for the humans and the Galactic Council. It was the first time they had managed to capture a part of Zorvan's fleet. The morale among the human forces was visibly boosted. Yet Admiral Kira knew they were far from the end of their struggle. The capture of a single cruiser, while significant, was only a small step towards understanding and countering Zorvan's true plan. There was much more to do, and the path ahead remained fraught with danger and uncertainty. But for now, they had won a battle, and it was a victory worth celebrating.